for the nerve-wracking bit. So this is the bit I always seem to get wrong. Let's try that one. There we go. So I have a little pot thing that had one of those nice little floaty smelly candles that the ladies seem to insist on having around the house. Tiny little drop of odorless thinners. And this is the Abteilung one that I went out and bought and then spilt straight away because I have a clumsy oaf, as we've all seen, a couple of other clips. No, nearly knocked it over again then. Oh dear. So, get that well out of the way. I'll make some space. Don't jab yourself in the thumb like I've just done with the needle. Best palette I've found for these oils, we're talking oils now by the way, we're going to be using the Abteilung Engine Grease, which is a gorgeous colour. It's just like a nasty oil change. Best palette I found for these is the little crinkly wrapper things that you get on your kits. That one just happens to be the one that goes around the box. So I'll have a little squish of that, like so. This is the technique I never seem to be able to get right. I'm learning with you guys at the same time. This is fun. So we have 3 brushes. We have the detail brush, come here, which is this one here. The detail brush, that's the one we're actually going to be dubbing into the paint to get paint on the brush and onto the model. Then we've got 2 chisel head brushes. I'm going to use the small one to go into the thinners, and that's a blending brush that will not see any thinners at all whatsoever throughout this. And it's easier to show than explain. Where's my thing? I'll get some of this blue kitchen roll type stuff that I borrowed from work. Like so. Right, let's get myself a decent angle. Let's try that. So, idea is we'll take one of these back panels, it's easy to show, and then from that seam there, this one at the top, we're going to run down with the thinners just a little bit across that panel, and then come in with a bit of the engine grease. So, not too much. If you'll notice on the brush, just turn it back off again, you'll see it pop straight up your brush, darken your brush straight away. So we'll take some of that off, and then you should see it go wet straight away on that panel. Now, white's probably not the best colour to show you with this technique. So we'll dub that onto there, and then we'll dub into the engine grease. Pick your spot, dub some on, take off the excess there, and then with a completely dry brush, show the people, Tony, completely dry brush, literally just going to go in the direction of flow. Now, it looks like it's disappeared straight away, but if you look really carefully, it is still there. And then for this little piece at the top where we're smudged, take the brush with the terps on, just wipe it across and tidy the area up. If you're not too happy with what you've already got, just come back in, dot more brush, dot more paint. Another streak. And with the dry brush, very gently. It's a fantastic technique if you can nail it. Like I say, I'm still learning this properly at the moment. To make that effective from this line here, probably best of starting up here somewhere and then tidying up. So we'll try that again. We'll actually start from there and come down. Okay, it's easier to show than explain. Just Make sure that's completely dry. Dry brush. Really shallow angle, and we're barely touching. Barely touching. We go in there, and now we tidy up this top piece. Top piece. I'm saying this with a brush in my mouth. Just trim that away there like that. Tidies up. So we're just going to nip around now and do a few spots like that. It's nothing. Oh, excuse me. Nothing too serious. It's nothing. You know, we're not going for overkill. That's the real nasty temptation here now, is to smother everything in paint. If you do too much, you will ruin the effect. So do try and limit what you're doing now. So go from the top there, and with the dry brush, very gently pull away. Like I say, if you need to, do a couple of times. Well, the best thing with this technique, if you do get it wrong, a little bit of terps, as you can see now where that discoloration is, quick wipe, it's gone. Then we can start again. And this is the best thing with oil paints. You can keep going until you get it right. Don't panic, take your time. Ooh, I like that one. I do like that one. I'm actually wanting to leave that there. Temptation here now is to go from, just get a better pointy stick. Take that out of your mouth so the people can understand what you're saying. Just grab this pointy stick here. Temptation is now to get rid of that top line. But I'm actually going to leave that. That's actually going to come from this socket here in there and run down that way. So I like that. That can stay. And we'll do one from up here somewhere. So if I take that door off there, pop that back across like so. We'll go across there and there. Once we do this, we'll have to leave this door off. I'm actually going to go from that top corner there into that part, and then down here. Now, as you can see there straight away on the door itself, I've put too much terps on. It's literally just bouncing back off. So if we blend that in now, and take some terps, we can actually clean that. I keep saying terps. There we go. Now, put that aside. Put it somewhere safe where it's not going to blow away next time you use your airbrush or anything like that. That will match up, hopefully, with that line there. Be very careful now when you start handling this that you don't put your thumb into anything you've already done. We'll bob another one around here just to... yeah, why not? Let's go from there. On that piece. I'll swap back to the dry brush. Just gives a nice little rusty, oily, gunky effect. I like that. I like that a lot. Right, so that can bob off to one side. Again, be careful not to put your thumb into anything you've just done. Otherwise you'll ruin your all your hard work. I'm actually going to put a little spot just there. Oop. I'll use the turpy brush again. I keep saying turps, it's thinners. Well, I can't quite get my head around that at the moment. The Mancunian. Do a lazy little dribble like that. So a proper little hydraulic stain. Okay, pop that there. Let that dry off. So that again is going to take roughly a week, I think. I'll come back in a couple of days' time and figure out what's what. I'm going to do one just there. Like so. Just a nice little delicate one. And then do one on his face as well somewhere. Just there. Just on the face. Oh, the camera's annoying me. I've just spent about 10 minutes running around doing bits and bobs. And be careful now. Adding a few extra streaks and stuff like that, and I'm yapping away quite merrily with my little self, and I'd run out of space on my SD card. So unfortunately, I'm afraid we've missed these little streaky bits. But the technique is exactly the same. So they didn't miss too much. So there's just like a few bits and bobs now. And I've got a chocolate lime in. So it's like I've got broken teeth again now. Well, that's not doing us any favours, is it? So there's like a couple of little streaks here and there. It's probably the best one there. Up in this corner. So I'm really sorry. I didn't realise we'd stop filming. Because the little view screen on the back just shows everything that I'm seeing, well, you're seeing right now. It shows exactly the same thing. Which is rather annoying. So there's me thinking it's filming and it's not, and I'm not playing anymore. It's a silly game, this. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Giddy. Fanboy hands. We're there. He's dry. Okay, breathe. Calm down. Slow down. Breathe. I'm working on something else again at the moment, and look, he's just exploded everywhere on my table. Ugh. Right. Naughty man. Naughty thing. Hinge. He's caught me off guard, this, because I was expecting at least another night out of this. Drying wise. He's caught me completely off guard. I like surprises. I do like surprises. Not that kind of surprise. Oh. Never mind. So, fill up my airbrush with this stuff again. Ta-da! I really must get the new stuff and give that a try. Squeaky. Right, it's another noisiest air compressor in the world. Bear with.
Good grief, the comedian's a bear! No, he's a nut! He's a wearing a necktie!
Really? We're doing that joke again? There we go. seems to be running smoothly. So we'll do 2 really light coats now. Another full on whack. Now I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not. As I'm spinning the dome, the little aluminium chips that I put on are catching light where I am. There's one there-ish. I don't think the camera's picking that up. Where are we? Just here. It's not much, but it does catch the eye when you see it in person. It's rather nice. I like that. Show the people. There we go. All I seem to do is in these videos at the moment to tell myself off. So what's that been? That's been another 4 days worth of drying time with the engine grease. I'll show you that in a minute. The Abteilung 502. I really am going to have to learn how to say that properly. I can hear people giggling because I'm getting it wrong. It's this stuff. The 502 Abteilung Engine Grease. And you definitely cannot say Abteilung without sounding like Richard Hammond. These R2 parts will get another coat of the clear, I'm knocking stuff over, this stuff, just to protect him a little bit more, and then we can rebuild him, stick the parts on, which are just there, and then we can call him done. Meanwhile, we shall be working on the base. So, quite early on in the build, when we did R2's dome originally, and a few of the other bits and parts that we painted silver. Silver's generic term for the flat aluminium. I gave that, because I had some left over, I gave both bases for R2 and R5 a quick coat of the aluminium. As you can see, it's all lovely and shiny and stuff like that, but they give you this little centrepiece that pops out, like so. Now, on the figures, I'll show you on 3PO's base. What's that doing? It bounced off, I can't find it, there it is. Haha, Carpet Monster didn't quite get it. Stormtrooper base is the same. This is the 3PO base. Where is the Stormtrooper? There's the Stormtrooper. Worryingly, I've just taken his foot with it. So that's the Stormtrooper base. With his right foot. Left foot? Left foot. It's the same for the 3PO base. Now, I'm not too sure if that's actually a direct swap. No, it's not. Oh, that's interesting. It's completely different, isn't it? Silly Tony. So, get the pop out base thing. I'm sure somebody can enlighten me why they've actually done that, because I can't quite figure it out. Whether there's something, you know, some kind of stand that pops through. Now, that won't come out because I've actually glued it in place, like a Nerk. But they do tell you there is a stand that goes in the back. It's the same with the Stormtrooper. I think that's where the stand attaches to. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am. Don't take my word for it. But with the R2 and R5, it's completely flat base. It's not like these things where you can stick a footing. So, with that being painted separately on the frame, come here, you, like that. Yeah, I messed with some thinners. I spoiled that effect, so I'm going to have to redo that anyway. As you can see, it's painted on the frames. Take it off, and now we've got some kind of hatch. Like that. And it's very, very obvious that it was a hatch. Now, I could technically respray over that, but I like that effect. So we're going to do some hatches by taking a piece of scrap paper, and we're literally just going to put a piece of paper over the top and run some really thin dark paint over the top. So let's have a bit of a play, shall we? You've seen me do this quite a few times now, where we take some Tamiya paint, in this case it'll be the rubber black. I'll take some thinners, I'll take my trusty airbrush, make sure you work. Oh, you don't work. Right, let's go back to you. Got 2 brushes on the go. Managed to get hold of one of these again off eBay. An HD 470. Now, for the life of me, I do not know who makes this, but it's a gravity feed, just like the Iwata. Does the exact same job, and it's nowhere near the price. And so far, I've had no trouble with it. So far. It's only been a week or 2. We'll soon find out if you really are getting what you pay for. And it was literally about 20 quid. So I'll drop some thinners in first, and you can see there it's got a nice wide throat compared to the Iwata, which can be a bit of a pain to clean out, especially if you've not done a strip down for a while. Whereas that thing, as you can see there, you can get brushing nicely to do a quick clean. However, we're not talking about quick cleans. I'm talking about thinning some paint down. So, just where we get all tangled up now with the hoses and stuff. Will you stay there? Right, take the outline off. There we go. It stays. Nice big throat. I don't want too much of this, so we're literally only going to go a tiny little panel, which I've hidden. And then taking a pipette type thing, clumsy. It's like a huge pipette thing. Again, you can buy these off eBay, and they're really, really cheap. I'm just going to throw a couple of drops in because we want a really, really thin mix this time. 5, 6, 7. We'll try 7 and see what that looks like. So it's not like we've seen before with the primers that I've been doing, which terrifies my good friend and captain, Mr. Fox. Apparently, Fox, I've checked with the fella that taught me. Apparently the thinners reacts with the plastic a little bit, so it does act like a primer. And that's why we use the thinners. That's his words, not mine. So don't quote me on that. I've not been able to private message you with it yet because I've not had a chance to get to a thing properly. Right then. Just do a quick run through. So you can see we've got some nice, really thin paint. That's a full-on whack. So if we go quite far forward with the trigger, and just come back that tiny little bit, and try and use a really soft air pressure. There we go. You can hear the difference now. I've eased up on the trigger. That's full on. Ease up a little bit. So it's barely there. You can see it wafting on. Hopefully. So if I bring you a little bit higher, drop you over the top like this. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'll do that again on this side. That's full on. And ease off. You should be able to hear the difference. And then if we bring the paint back a little bit, spatter, spatter, spatter. So you get barely there, going into full on, which we don't want. We want barely there. So just take this end cap off, and there's just a little bit of spattering because we're dried on the end of the needle. Focus. So give that a quick wipe. Now I'm not going for full on accuracy, so if it's not square, I'm not bothered. and then just have a quick play, a quick practice, and then come up and off, and then we get a shadow straight away. If we come over this side and do the same thing, again, start on the paper, and the coloured plastic one. Now if you are bothered about squares, obviously take your time and line up first. Oops. Let's do another one there. Do one last one. Oh, I do like that effect. This one's a little bit trickier because it's right in the corner. There you go. Like that. Yeah. Let's do another couple here. But let's go right across. There you go. So we've got some nice tonal patterns there now. I'll drop this one back in. Like I say, if you're bothered about squares being there to start with, then obviously line that up properly. Okay, so big blob of blue sticky stuff. Doink. Put it back in there, like so. That's literally just so we can hold on to something underneath. Maybe tilt it a little bit. And already waiting in the airbrush is good old clear. And then one really light coat to start with. And on it. Like so. Looks like you've not done anything yet, but trust me, it is there. There you go, you can see it building up now. The cuts where just flash it off a little bit and come back in with a third coat. I'm going to put that down. Leave that 1 hour. Whoops. You know, like I've been saying all along, be very careful with that bendy bit at the end. I'm a clumsy nerk, I really am. Right, so, not a problem, it's not the end of the world, it's not a huge deal, even though right inside right now I'm going, ah, I've broke it! don't panic, we can fix this. We'll take the trusty old clippers and we'll go right down to that part there, and then we'll take our knife. We're using the knife for this rather than a sanding stick because it's that soft vinyl stuff. Show the people, Tony. It's that soft vinyl stuff, and a sanding stick really won't work on it. So, it's not a problem. What we need now is some kind of fuse wire, or even better, guitar wire. I have a confession to make regarding the guitar string. A friend of mine a while back was moving house, and her kids had one of those kids guitars that you get them, you know, for Christmas, and they like strum it twice and then it goes under the bed never to be seen again until you move house. And she was getting ready to throw it away, straight on the tip, like you do. I said, nope, 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 don't do that, don't do that. I shall take those strings. What do you want those strings for? It's for things like this. So, I have a choice now. I can either leave it with the core itself, focus, and choose a very similar size to the part just broken. So I can have the whole thing as one with the core. Don't do that, because you jab yourself in the thumb with it. Ooh, you silly nerk. Bleed? No? Okay. Or, you can strip the core out and use that. Or, you can just use the squiggly bit, like you use for the aerial on the Roscoe car. Insert picture here. There we go. So, I'm actually going to choose one of these cores. No, not those cores. Oh. You can't drink this stuff, right? So, I'm going to go with the biggest one I've got. Or shall I? No. Make your mind up, Tony. Let's go for the full thing. Let's get a zigzaggy thing on. Yeah, why not? Let's not use you. You're a bit too thin. Yeah, I'll go with you. Now, do not use, like I've done in the past, your best snips for this. Use a pair of pliers that you don't mind getting broken. Otherwise you'll put big dink in your best snips, and your snips will never work properly after that. And from that point on, whenever you cut, you'll be leaving big dinks in whatever you're cutting. Okay, let's go with that. See where we end up. I don't think you can make that out. There's a tiny little burry thing at the end. So we get a needle file and smooth that off. He says, looking for his needle file. Hello, there you are. Using a round one, doesn't matter, we're just taking the edge off. Just to stop it jabbing into you. Like that. Just give it something better to work with. Like so. It's probably a little bit too long. Yeah, it is. But we'll take care of that once it's in. Using Old Faithful pin vise. And a selection of tiny little drill bits. Now, having looked back through my emails and shopping lists and stuff like that, I did actually get this from Games Workshop, but they've completely redesigned their pin vise since. And it's now this great big huge swanky thing that costs an arm and a leg. So I would advise... Oh, where's he gone? My chuck's missing. I would advise to have a look around on model shops, on the interwebs and things like that, for something similar. You will find them. They are out there somewhere. It comes with a couple of different sized collet things. You can chop and change. I do love this pin vise. Like I said, the Games Workshop one now is ridiculously expensive for what you're actually getting hold of. And then over the years I've amassed a collection of tiny little drill bits, as you can see. So, I think you're going to be too big. I have actually got a digital caliper thing, whatever they're called. So I could get this exact, but I'm actually going by eye. By eye! Let's see how this works. Try and get as centre as we can. If push comes to shove, I'll lose this part. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Obviously it's a shame that we've come all this way from Japan to be broken in with insure. But that's okay. I'm glad this has happened because it helps me to teach you. So just be patient with this. Let the drill do the work, don't force it. Take your time. Hopefully it's deep enough and wide enough that we can now take this let's go a tiny bit wider. It's going to be too wide. It's not wide enough. Oh, hello. Where did you go? Did anybody see what I did with my plate? Anyway, it's alright, I found them. Panic over. Panic over. Alright, I'm going to use the pliers just to get a decent grip. Not quite. Not quite. There we go. Does need a little bit of refinement. Tiny little bit. I'll have to trim a little bit of that off at the end eventually. That's as good as done. So by all means, sit there, use naughty words and things like that, but don't panic. Everything is fixable eventually. And we don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents. So if I trim that down to size. Watch your eyes when you do that as well. I've shot the dog quite a few times. So in a moment I'm going to get the a proper needle file on that, just to smooth that off so nobody's going to injure themselves on it. But we've now got the guitar string welder. Awesome. And so with all the messing about, that thing's had a chance to dry. So we're going to take the Starship Filth 502 Abteilung, like you've seen me do quite a few times now hopefully, and if you've only seen this for the first time you've missed a load of stuff. Go back and watch the earlier episodes. We'll take an old gunky brush, and we're literally, this time, we're just going to stay in those little areas there. Give it a good wallop. Like so. This is how confident I am, I've not even got my glove on this time. Yeah, the little man is walking me and saying, yeah, we've done this a million times, we know what we're doing now. So why not, just for the sake of it, let's get a finger in, get all gunky. Yeah. So it's not right unless you're getting it everywhere. I mean everywhere. And then, taking a wipey offy cloth. Yes, I've decided that's a technical term. The wipey offy cloth. Go in and scrub that back away. Just like so. And using the corner hemi part. Let's get it to get a little point. A little scrub. Don't take it all out, leave some in there. And once that's done, it's gone off for like 4 days or however long it's going to take this time round, we can seal that back again. I'm going to seal it with clay this time rather than give it a flat finish, because we want it to look like a floor. We want it shiny like that. So that being done, that's a thing then where everything was, so I didn't give away 3PO. We'll take R2 because all that's lovely and dry now. We'll stick them back together, make sure the rags are the right way around. I just had a little panic then, but yeah, they're the right way. And don't forget, like I keep forgetting to mention, you do have the door, the closed door option too. So when I come round to finishing off R5, which I'm nowhere near doing yet, I've got a few night shifts coming up, so hopefully I can get that sorted out on my turnaround days when I'm off. I think I said earlier on in the episode, I'm not having all the parts sticking out of R2. I'm going to save some for R5. He's over there somewhere. So don't forget to do the closed doors, just in case, and stuff like that. So, stop twaddling. Let's get this on. Like that. Why did it put his eye? This is the part I really can't wait for. Let's just shift you out of the way a little bit, because this is when he will finally look like R2. Get the eye off, and then very, very carefully, just going to take back those edges. think so. Oh, I'm holding my breath now. Breathe, Tony. Breathe. Tuck off my fingers. And plop. Gorgeous. Absolutely bloody gorgeous. Now, I'm hoping that little lens there and the one at the back just there, I think I've put the link in the description. I vaguely remember mentioning it. I'm hoping this is the same episode. If not, I'll put the link in the description again. Friend and follower Peter Gray, I think I've got it right this time. I really need to start writing these down. He sent me a link for a video that basically uses like a foily type thing off party favours as a lens substitute. And it's been shown on armour, but you could easily adapt it for this as well. I've not got around to finding that yet, but hopefully I can update you with this once I update with R5. That'll be in like a fortnight's time or something like that, I think. I could be wrong. Do stay tuned, because he's not finished. Just needs a little bit of work. Ooh. Get in. There we go. I'll stick you there. We'll stick you there. And that's why I've not put the decal on, because I'm hoping to get hold of this stuff. But at the same time, I want to finish this build now. Even I'm getting impatient with it. And that's mostly down to the fact that it's all the waiting around for the oil paint to dry. Because I'm still quite new to the oil paints, believe it or not. And it's freaking me out with how long it takes. That part goes down like that. And you can go in there, and then we need to fit you in somewhere as well. Let's put you there. One busy little R2, which is why I'm going to put some of that on R5. Lovely. That base looks amazing once you've got him on. Well, that's why I'm not too bothered about whether it's square or not, because he's in the way, you're not going to see it. Awesome. See, there's some madness in my method. Right then. That's R2 done. Apart from waiting for the things to turn up so I can show you that. I'm going to introduce you, because I've mentioned him a few times I think, or have I? I can't quite remember. Introduce you to C3PO. Ta-da! You've probably noticed already, he looks nothing like the kit that you've got. It's the same kit, I assure you. It's the exact same Bandai kit, except for I've stripped all that gold plating off, so I could paint him how I like him. Stay tuned for the C3PO build. As always guys, thank you so much for watching.
I would much rather have gone with Master Luke than stay here with you.
Oh, hello.
I don't know what all this trouble is about, but I'm sure it must be your fault. You watch your language.
You can drink this stuff, right? Yeah, whoa, stop. You promised people you'd show them how to do this part with the pencils, didn't you? And you forgot, didn't you? Yeah? I know your game. Right then, apologies for that. A couple of ways of doing this. And that is possibly too small to show you, but I'm going to try anyway. right on these edges, right on these little groovy parts. It looks shiny because that's the future clear, whatever it's called this week, on there. A tiny little dry brushing of some kind of silver paint that I can't quite remember at the moment. So there's a couple ways of doing this. We've got a bog standard 6B pencil. I'll see if you can see it without the glare. You can either, on a scrap piece of paper, in this case a post-it note, scrape some off, like so, and give it a bit of a mushing with the end of your pencil, and run your finger in, get a load on the end of your finger, and then, see if I can get it on this part, just run it around the edge. It's not obvious straight away, you can overdo this. Just gives you that extra dimension of muck and grime and stuff like that. Now if you use something like an HB pencil, which is a harder lead, it's the same, you just change the flavour of, let's get rid of that, just wipe your finger on the chair or something. So with the 6B you get a darker lead, HB you get a lighter lead, if that makes sense. And same again, just very gently where I put it around. It just gives you that extra dimension. I say it's not an obvious technique. You know, it doesn't jump up and smack you in the face like a proper highlighting does. Which is what I've done on this one with the dry brush of the aluminium. So it's not an obvious here I am type of effect, but it is there nonetheless. It's just something extra to catch the eye, or to dull something down. So there we go, R2 finished, a busy little R2. I will update at some point with R5. At the moment I just haven't got any time to get around to finish him in this kind of style, but I will update when that arrives, including how to hopefully deal with that nasty little decal that's going to tear the second I look at it. Battery died halfway through that. Yeah, so thank you so much for being involved with this journey of mine, and ours. This is your journey too. Feel free, leave me a comment below. Any questions or anything like that, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and as soon as I've either got a decent answer or I can find somebody who actually knows what they're talking about better than I do. But I will always try and get back to you as soon as I can. I do work night shifts every now and then, so it's a little bit difficult, so bear with me. I am there in the background somewhere. But as always, thank you so much for being here, sharing this, and being as awesome as you all are. Take care guys, I will see you for this fella soon.